Hi guys, in today's lesson we will be going over figurative language. Our standard we will be covering today is how to determine the meaning of words and phrases as they are used in the text, including figurative and connotative meanings, and analyzing the impact of specific word choices on meaning and tone, including words with multiple meanings or language that is particularly fresh, engaging, or beautiful. But today we will be focusing on a couple specific ways that figurative meaning is used in words or phrases. The first type of figurative language we will talk about is allusion. Allusion is when an author uses an expression to call something to mind without actually mentioning it. For example, allusions are used when we say things like, "Potato chips are my Achilles heel." In that sentence, we are making an allusion to Achilles, who was an invincible Greek character whose only weakness was his heel. Since we use this phrase, we are hoping that our audience understands what we are alluding to. In the link provided for the YouTube video on this slide, you'll find a video that shows you a good example of how allusion is used just in everyday life, and then it also gives you an exact definition of an allusion. So if you find that link right below this video and go to that, it'll just be a minute or so, and then you can come back to this page. In this next page, this site will show some examples of allusion in common sentences. And here, let me show you this site really quick. So basically, it's giving a good example of what allusion is. And then over here, it also gives different examples of famous literature. There's actually a lot of biblical allusions that can be used in literature. And then also Greek myths have a lot of allusions. So it just explains really well what it would be, and then it gives good examples of allusions. So she transformed her backyard to look like the Garden of Eden, or his wife was his Achilles heel. And then it also shows at the bottom here famous quotes that have come through allusions. So if you just look through this website for a little bit, I'll have the link for that below the video too. Okay, the next type of figurative language we'll be talking about are similes and metaphors. And they're very similar, so they're often grouped together, but really it's just the difference in if it uses the word like or as, or if it's just simply a comparison of two things. Similes compare two things using the word like or as, so it would say something like, she is, or she shines like a light. That would be an example of a simile because it's comparing she to a light. And then a metaphor would be comparing two things without using the word like or as, and it commonly uses just the verb is. So instead of she shines like a light, you would simply say she is a light. So you're comparing her to light again without using like or as. In this website here, I'll have the link for you under the page. It gives a good example, and it explains more so what similes and metaphors are, and then it'll give you a brief little quiz to go over what you know. And I'm not going to be asking if you finish this quiz, but for your benefit, I think it would be a good idea to go through because it'll have you define metaphors, and it's just 7 quick questions, but it'll show you right away if you get it right or wrong and show you the correct answer too. So it'll give you a better knowledge of similes and metaphors before your next part. So if you take just a little time to do that and then come back to this page. For the final part of review on simile and metaphors, I'm going to have you guys go to this YouTube link, and on it is a song quiz put together, and it's really well made, and I think you'll enjoy it. It has some common pop songs and country songs that actually use similes and metaphors in their lyrics. So I'm going to have you write down the song number on a piece of paper and then whether or not you thought it was a simile or a metaphor next to it. And then you'll bring that to the next class period so that we can discuss what you thought and then what is actually in the song lyrics. So if you take a minute and do that, and then come back to this page. Okay, now that you guys have your background in allusion and simile and metaphor, then I'm going to tell you about our assignment that we'll be doing in class. It will be over Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech at the Washington Monument. And so at this website, this is his speech. And so if you guys want to read over this, and then I would like you guys to print this off or write down the different ways that you find. There's a bunch of different phrases or words in here that can be used for either allusion or similes and metaphors. So if you'll write down the phrase or word and then tell me which one it is, and then we'll talk about that in class and go over it. So it's a really great speech that uses a lot of ways to get people thinking. And so please finish that and bring it to the next class period. And that's it. So I will see you then.